We want you to be safe. We want you to get where you're going. And while we're never happy if it takes 20 or 30 more minutes and you have to use an alternative route, we never want you crossing over an unsafe bridge.
And tonight, that's the Sherman-Minton Bridge. It's now closed. The Kentucky governor late today giving an update, talking about the emergency shutdown of the I-64 bridge to New Albany. Andy Bashir believes it could be open in just a few days, not shut down for 6 months like what happened with it in 2011. And the problems, he says, with the bridge are nothing like with what's going on in the Brent Spence Bridge that connects northern Kentucky to Cincinnati. Well, the Sherman-Minton has been undergoing a major rehab. The renewal project engineers today said that the upper and lower decks of the bridge were closed overnight after construction crews found a component of the approach bridge was in need of immediate repair. The crews were evaluating the Kentucky side, the Kentucky approach at the time, to make planned repairs when they found it. Officials say the deck needs immediate repairs before any traffic's allowed. The closure is until further notice, but as you heard the governor say today, that he doesn't expect it to last it too long. Now, drivers and business owners in New Albany were coming up with alternate routes today. Many of them say this closure is going to be costly. WHAS 11's Travis Breeze has been talking to several people frustrated. They want answers.
The drivers I talked to here in New Albany were a bit shocked to hear of the immediate, complete closure of the bridge, and many of them say that this is going to cost them money, either by missing out on job opportunities or having to pay tolls.
All that traffic is going to be bunched up on the 2nd Street Bridge. A lot more gas.
Drivers like Eddie Brown stopped by the Marathon on State Street in New Albany and found out they had to reroute.
They've been working on this bridge so long, it seems like every other week it's closed.
The bridge was closed overnight when crews noticed a component of the approach ramp on the Kentucky side needed immediate repairs. Thursday morning, the Sherman-Minton Renewal Project announced the closure would be extended until further notice.
I was just gonna go on my way, but now I'm late.
At Regalo in downtown New Albany, owner J.D. Dotson says his customers have plenty of experience navigating delays, and this may require them to lean more on their free delivery service.
We did it when the bridge closed the last time. We do free local delivery in Louisville as well, and our entire store's online. So that has helped out, but yeah, it's annoying.
The Sherman-Minton Renewal Project has provided a few updates throughout the day, the most recent being the Sherman-Minton Renewal Project team and state transportation officials are working diligently to reopen the bridge to traffic as quickly as possible. Dotson says Riverlink should drop the tolls on I-65 and I-265 while half of the free bridges are down.
Drop the tolls, yeah. Yeah, because 2nd Street's a disaster, especially if there's anything going on downtown, the Center or whatever.
The latest chapter in the now 2-year construction project.
Anytime over, 2 years, it's kind of, man.
In New Albany, Travis Breeze, WHAS 11 on your side.
He said it well. Well, the Sherman-Minton Bridge is 60 years old, and it opened about the same time as the Kennedy Bridge. The current rehab project was supposed to be finished at the end of this year, and they say would add 30 years of life to the Sherman-Minton.
Okay, so take a look. No cars on I-64 leading to or from the Sherman-Minton Bridge. You can see some construction trucks and workers. We were told inspectors would be active at the bridge today. But of course, all of those drivers have to go somewhere. You can see slow-moving traffic on the Kennedy Bridge and the popular free option, 2nd Street Bridge. You know that one is busy. That is exactly where we find Sam Gabrielli out on the roads right now, keeping an eye on everything. Sam, when we last checked, you were just crawling across the bridge. How was this last pass over it?
Yeah, thanks for checking in, guys. This evening, we're noticing that traffic is really ramping up when it comes to the overall flow coming out of downtown Louisville towards southern Indiana. We're actually on 31 going northbound. We were basically stuck in stoplight traffic leading up to the Clark Memorial Bridge for a solid 15, 20, maybe up to about 25 minutes. It took us that long to get about 3 blocks worth of stoplight traffic approaching the Clark Memorial Bridge. Now, here's actually a look at where we currently are. and we are, it looks like my camera's a little frozen, but we're currently on 31 going northbound towards the junction with 65 and 31. We're actually going to hop back onto 31 southbound, if not take 65 southbound this time, and give you more of a look at Interstate 65. So we'll be out here through the course of the evening providing further updates, but again, we're really noticing traffic ramping up when it comes to the overall intensity of it right now. A lot of cars, obviously, a lot more volume on the roadways.
Okay, Sam, thank you very much. We're going to check in back with Sam again in the Beast, roving around, checking out the traffic coming up at 5:30. Well, many of you still haven't forgotten the emergency shutdown in 2011. It was called Shermageddon. It was called that because at the same time, Louisville was right in the middle of getting a brand new bridge downtown and Spaghetti Junction was torn up. You're calling the rant line about it at 502-582-RANT. Your calls about the Sherman-Minton shutdown coming up at 5:45. Well, now let's talk about the heat. The heat index right now, 108 degrees, going to be hotter by the weekend. Now the city of Louisville is springing into action to protect those who are most vulnerable to the high temperatures.
Today, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg teamed up with the National Weather Service to make sure Metro Louisville's families are taking necessary steps to keep themselves safe. The National Weather Service says in dangerous heat like this and what we will be seeing in the next few days, it is so important to remember heat during every decision you make. Remember, never leave the kids or pets unattended in vehicles. Stay hydrated, take a lot of air conditioning breaks, and limit your outdoor activity. You also want to make sure you're checking in on those around you.
And so it's critical to stay hydrated, to stay safe, to stay cool, and make sure those around you, including elderly neighbors and friends and relatives, are doing the same.
We are now under a white flag warning. A white flag warning goes into effect when the heat index reaches above 95 degrees. That allows people needing protection from the elements to stay at participating shelters as long as that weather persists. WHAS11's Connor Steffen is live at the Louisville Main Library right now, currently acting as a cooling center.
Well, Connor, they just opened this cooling center just a little while ago. So what have you been seeing there while you've been there?
Well, Doug, it shouldn't come as a surprise with Operation White Flag now in place. We've seen quite an increase here, at least at the library off York Street, in attendance and patrons here today. Really, it's only it's hard to find yourself a desk or a computer. There's a lot of people here currently. But we want to give you a lay of the land of the rest of Louisville when it comes to these cooling shelters, if you want to take a look at your screen. So if you're looking at the lay of the land, there's quite a few different places. You have 8 neighborhood place locations throughout Louisville. You also have 14 community centers. They're going to be partnering with Dare to Care Food Bank as well. You have 14 senior nutrition sites, as well as 17 Louisville Free Public Library sites that all act as cooling shelters. There's absolutely no qualifications or stipulations. If you are hot, if you need a place that is a good place to cool down, please find any of these different locations across Louisville.
Any day, you're welcome to come in here. You don't need to have any kind of identification or a library card. We are open to everyone.
That was the Assistant Director of Louisville Free Public Library. If you are in a place where you're looking for somewhere to cool down, what you can do is you can go ahead and call 311. They will give you any information about the closest cooling shelter to you, and you'll be able to head that way. We're here live at the York Road Louisville Public Library. Connor Steffen, WHAS 11 on your side.
All right, Connor, thank you very much for that update. Again, there are dozens of options all over the city to take a break from the heat. Those air-conditioned breaks are considered critical to staying safe while this heat continues. And we do have an incredible update from U of L Health today. Louisville Metro Police Officer Nicholas Wilt will be discharged from Fraser Rehab tomorrow morning, heading home to be with his family and continue recovery. Officer Wilt was shot while responding to an active shooter situation at Old National Bank back in April. Wilt spent more than 3.5 months in the care of U of L Health after that shooting. He remained in critical condition for nearly a month after multiple surgeries and procedures, not only at U of L Hospital, but also Jewish Hospital. His condition improved enough to be transferred to the Fraser Rehabilitation Institute. Officer Wilt is still recovering from that traumatic brain injury. We're told he will continue his therapy with Fraser Rehab through outpatient care.
Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell returned to work on Capitol Hill in Washington today after that frightening health episode that happened right in front of TV cameras at a news conference yesterday. He says he's okay after freezing mid-sentence for about 20 seconds while talking to reporters. McConnell was escorted back to his office, and then 12 minutes later, he returned, taking questions. He was also asked by reporters about what happened, and here's what he said.
Could you address what happened here at the start of the press conference, and was it related to your injury from earlier this year where you suffered a concussion? Is that?
No, I'm fine.
He said, "I'm fine." House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he met with McConnell right after the incident.
There was no concerns about his health in their meeting.
Senator McConnell said President Joe Biden also called to check up on him and said he joked with the president that he was, quote, sandbagged, referring to when President Joe Biden fell over a sandbag at a graduation ceremony.